going to be a guest book at my wedding.
It's going to be a guest book, so they're going to use like a 60-year-old typewriter as a guest book. What will you have in there? What
I
sort of?
haven't decided yet. I'm going to work on that. That's my next project.
I see.
And then I'm not sure yet. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to type things and write letters.
Well. And how much did you pay for it?
No, that's $125.
$125. Well, that's a hell of an item. Boy, just in scrap metal, it's about $300 or so. So, may I get your name? I'm Frank from Collector Magazine.
Okay.
And this is it's a great thing that you're finding a novel way to use these old things. So when are you going to get married?
I'm getting married on June 11th.
On June.
5 weeks. Is it 4 weeks? I don't even remember.
On June 11th, and this will be your guest book.
Yeah.
And are you doing how are you going to dress? Are you allowed to say how you're going to?
I'm going to wear white.
Uh-oh. Is it going to be a brand new, or is it going to be vintage?
No, it is. It's a new dress.
I see.
Vintage.
And do you do any other retro kind of things in your life?
Well, I do letterpress printing.
You do letterpress print. Now, what does letterpress mean?
Letterpress are these old. Well, they're not too old. They're
old enough.
From like the 50s or 60s. And I print on a Vandercook number 4. It's an old proof press.
So you have an old proof press.
I don't own one. No, they're quite expensive. You can get them for around $5 or $6 grand.
And so you set the type, one type.
I do. There's 2 ways to print. Now, there's the old way, which is setting lead type. Which I do. And then you lay it down on the press and then hand roll each one. And then another way, which is the more modern way to do it.
The more modern way to use an old proof press.
Yeah, you you can use a design file like Photoshop, Adobe, or whatever, and then create photopolymer plates from it. And then they're like these plastic plates that you set down on the press.
I see.
And
so what would it cost? So let's suppose I had a nice 8x10 thing that I created. I don't know, like I was going to make a guest book, and I wanted to have that. Do you have any idea what it would cost to have that polymer plate made?
Oh, to have a polymer plate made, you can do them yourself. I don't know how to run the equipment.
I don't think I'm going to learn how to do it myself.
You can, because you can go to studios that have them, and you can learn how to make polymer.
Yeah, I'd rather just send it off to a guy.
So it depends on the complexity of the design and how big the piece is.
Well, it's an 8x10. It's a standard size piece of paper.
The plate could run you maybe $200-ish.
So around $200.
Between $100 and $200, it's a total rough estimate. And then,
well, how do you do it? Do you set hot type yourself?
I do both.
Well, when you did something, what did it cost you to have that polymer plate made?
The most recent project, I did our wedding invitations.
You did your wedding invitations.
So I used polymer plates for that because I incorporated a design that isn't something you can easily find on lead type. So that probably was the total for all 3 pieces. I ran thank you cards and the invitation, and then RSVP cards. It was like $150-ish.
And so then you did this and you rolled it yourself. You made all those wedding invitations yourself using a proof press?
Yeah.
How many invitations did you send out?
Well, I'm still trying to send some of them out.
I still haven't gotten it.
He still hasn't gotten his invitation. Let's see, we have 132 guests. So roughly about that.
About 132. Now, how long did it take you to crank these things out? Literally cranking these things out.
That's why letterpress is so expensive. It takes a lot of time. It's like.
But how long did it take you?
Because you hand mix the ink
to
the color you want.
And what color did you? What color? 2 colors. So it had. So the invitations each one had to go through twice. Now, when you sent them through the second time, didn't you have a lot of misfeeds, or they didn't align off registration?
Yeah, to register them, to get the colors to register right.
How many failed?
A lot. It takes a lot of time.
I imagine so. Would you say about 10% were off registration?
I usually account for about 10 to 15% to get it just right, because you want the crop marks to fit, exactly aligned, so that when you have a 2-color project, you want that register to be just perfect.
Well, I imagine so.
It depends on how meticulous you are, and
well,
I'm a perfectionist.
And you're a perfectionist. I mean, if you go to this lengths, you're obviously quite perfectionist.
So it took, I spent, when I did the first run of invitations, I spent probably 4 hours in the studio.
So
start to finish.
about 4 hours
To
to.
make. And then when you know,
Now, what color inks? What was the precise color? Because I assume there was a precise color to this.
theme, yeah. I did sort of a graphite,
So graphite gray,
and then I did a pink,
pink,
like
just pink,
peachy sort of.
peachy
like a
pink,
blush.
blush pink. Now,
Most
with all
people, they
this
would
work,
just say
do
pink.
you expect the marriage to last? I mean, it sounds like you really
I put a lot of work into this.
It sounds like you really
You
did.
go into it with that attitude.
I think so.
So, what do you do for a living?
I'm an attorney.
You're an attorney. Now, why would an attorney have such an
Good
interest in all this kind of
Somebody who
stuff?
probably doesn't want to be an attorney.
I thought you'd be a graphic artist or something like that. So what is your specialty?
I do intellectual property and
Intellectual property.
Recently, though, I've been stuck in environmental litigation, which is okay.
Well, when you did intellectual property, did you handle any interesting cases? Like, did you work for Apple or Disney or? You didn't work for me, I know that. I give away all my intellectual property.
Do you?
Yes. My magazine has no copyright on it.
Oh, sure it does.
No, it does not.
No, why
No.
not? Well, you didn't register it for copyright, but if you have an original piece of work, it's
Because I tell people you can have it. Do whatever you want
well, that
for
doesn't mean
it.
you don't own the copyright.
There's no copyright. It doesn't say copyright.
have to.
It doesn't. I disavow it.
Oh, okay. All right. You don't have a copyright. Okay.
I have 75,000 photographs up in the cloud.
Oh, wow.
No copyright. I encourage people to take and use for any lawful purpose.
There you go.
Well, that probably offends you.
No.
So, have you worked in any interesting intellectual property rights
That is
cases?
interesting to you.
Oh, I don't know what. I guess so. The answer is you haven't.
It depends. No, I represented Nokia
Nokia.
in a patent infringement.
Did Apple infringe on them?
No.
Someone else infringed on them? Who infringed on
Depends
them?
on who you ask.
Well, what does Nokia's? What
These
does
are the kinds
no?
of answers you get when you.
What does Nokia say?
They say that Qualcomm infringed on their patent.
Oh, that Qualcomm? Is Qualcomm still in business? I,
This was a long time ago.
yeah, it's been a while. I remember there was the Qualcomm Center and it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's fantastic.